Well, thank you very much. And we're looking at regulation anxiety, the fear of just regulating our sectors. Larry Dogbe says, who then regulates the regulator? This one is from Engineer Boachi, who says the law enforcement agencies are underfunded, leading to weak prosecution, and the courts are unable to effectively administer justice. So it seems to be trickling down, but we're trying to look at it from the top. But just before we're going, Roxanne, you were going into education, which is one area that affects us all and should affect us positively. But my question is, who is regulating it, and what are they doing? Twice I've had Angel Kaboni on this show, and this, as far as teaching is concerned, is a teaching angel. And he says, Nana, if you ask me what the purpose of the Ghanaian education is, I may not be able to tell you. It's just bring them in and then send them away. We haven't even sat down to say, look, this is a void in Ghana's economy or social where we want our education to plug. What's happening?
Nana, I would tackle this matter from the perspective of my constituency, my district. Mm-hmm. When I became the MP last year, the results of the BEC candidates were but so I had to put our heads together to begin to fashion out programs. Now, this was in no consultation with region or Accra or the Metropolitan Center. But just with the new district director, we decided to organize holiday classes for only the BEC candidates. So the 2017 results got better. 2018, we did it. I just got a proposal. And so we are hoping that it will get better than 2017. I just got a proposal from one of the key teachers in my district. He teaches ICT. He did some analysis. And what he's saying is that it appears, for instance, if you are the English teacher in my constituency, say Pekia Vetile Methodist GHS, and I also teach English at Germany RC GHS. What this teacher is saying is that he analyzed the situation and realized that we have not been teaching according to the curriculum. We have been jumping the curriculum in our own, giving our own discretions. So even though we are supposed to prepare the candidates for BEC, we may not have succeeded in taking them through the entire curriculum before they were ready. So he has designed a program where he wants to bring all the teachers to a common conference where they will sift the curriculum and design one lesson note for every teacher of the English language. So if it is class 6, the whole Southern, all the English teachers will be teaching with the same lesson notes.
Okay.
If it's mathematics, all of them will be teaching with the same lesson notes. So when you go to Ajebu or Pekia Vetile or Kweve or Gemini or Tongo or Dugan, class 6, the lesson notes will be the same. And the teachers will be teaching similar things. So I can't say, Josiah taught me not to say the same. Because two things are not the same, they are similar. They will be teaching similar things. So the kids will not be taught things differently. And I think it's a brilliant idea. Even though, so living that scenario, the point I'm making is that even though the regulator may fashion out curriculum for us, or curricula for all the courses available to us, the respective teachers uses their own discretion to teach according to convenience and time and availability. And this the regulator is not able to check. Even though they are asked to prepare lesson notes, some of the lesson notes are cooked. We must admit this. They are cooked. I can sit we call it armchair preparations. I haven't been to the classroom, but I will sit in an armchair in my room and prepare lesson notes. Who will come to Asesawa to check or will take Bolu? or Ajebui to check whether I have done.
So is the regulator overwhelmed?
The regulator, they will find excuses, because you see, they will find excuse that they have no logistics. For instance, in my district, I have over 10 circuits, and all the circuit supervisors don't have the means to go around to supervise anything. So I am making arrangement to get motorbikes for all the circuit supervisors in Southern, so that they can perform their circuit duties. And in a circuit, a number of schools fall under a circuit. You understand my point? A number of schools fall under a circuit. So if the circuit supervisor cannot go around and supervise the teachers in his circuit, what kind of report can he generate or she generate? As I speak to you, the pickup available for the district director to also do her supervision within the district is broken down. It all is in a deplorable state. Every day it is fixed, but it's unable to function as it ought should be. So there too, I am looking at means of raising some money to get a new pickup. But you see, the situation in Southern is become the microcosm of the macrocosm, and I have to use it like this. It's become reflective of the macro situation in this country. Because the regulator is under-resourced, like others have sent you, is under-resourced, is not monitored properly, is not regulated. The regulator itself is not regulated by someone who is supposed to do so. We have issues. The regulator is not able to function in a manner that it ought to be.
Rox, let me interject.
And I'm not done with education.
No, I was staying with education.
Yeah.
Is that the reason why maybe you can't then go to your district director and say, look, that's it, I'm holding you responsible, or I'm writing a letter here? Because you know physically she or he hasn't got the car. The circuit supervisor hasn't got a motor. So he hasn't done his job, which is wrong, but how then he can't walk? So you're also not able to punish the regulator. You see,
it is not that she hasn't done her job, but I would rather reservedly say that she hasn't done her job effectively.
Because she can't, because you haven't provided her the tools.
No, and let me tell you, I have about 48 communities in Southern, and I can mention all of them on top of my head. And we expect the district director, for instance, and I'm not speaking of even health yet. I speak only of education. And I expect the district director to be able to visit all these communities where we have basic schools, to once in a while visit and see how the teachers function. She can't go to Ajebui because there's no vehicle. And the distance from Kweve to Ajebui is 22 kilometers or more. Will she sit on a motorbike? She's capable of sitting on a motorbike, but what about, and I don't have, apart from a section of the Eastern Corridor that passes through my district at Peki, and no other road in my constituency is that. It's all feeder road. It's all in a deplorable state. All right? So if the district director says that, I am unable, I am so uncomfortable that I can't sit on a motorbike to go to Ajebui, that's it. She must rely, therefore, on the head teacher in Ajebui for information. Maybe he too hasn't gone to school for 2 days, but he will be able to feed the district director with information. The intervening person who could do that will be the circuit supervisor. He too lacks the ability to be mobile. I just mentioned that I'm making some arrangements. So that is why I made the point that the situation in my district is symptomatic of the greater problem within the republic. Look, we have GES, we have NatVet, we have the one that regulates the awards, the National Accreditation Board and all. GES is coming out with new policies. I have asked them. I have 4 secondary schools in Southern. I have Tongochan Akpe Secondary School, Peki Secondary School, Peki Secondary Technical at Wudome, then Kpeve Secondary Technical. In the dual track system that they are introducing, they have selected only Peki Secondary School. But as we speak, I have not been told the system that these 3 other secondary schools will be running. But we have 2 or 3 weeks to resume. Meanwhile, if they will be running the old system, we need to know to allay the fears of parents. If they will be running the new system, then we need to be told that they have been selected and that the teachers in these schools will be taken through the...
Well, they said all schools will be running the new system, which
no,
is a semester.
No. That is another point of the issue. There are 696 secondary schools, almost 700 secondary schools. Only 400 have been selected.
To do the double track
To
system.
do the double track.
However, all the other schools will run a semester. They won't do the trimester anymore. So you don't have 3 terms. They're going to have 2 terms.
No. I have made some inquiries and I'm making the point. This is part of the problem I have with GES. When they come with policy initiatives, they fail completely to educate the generality of the people on the policy. So people like you and I, but for the fact that we are able to do our independent searches, we are also in doubt. We are also in abeyance. We don't know whatever is going on. You know the formula they use. Today upon inquiry, I was told that the 400 schools were selected because when they checked the number of BEC candidates who selected them, their numbers were high. Mm-hmm. So the 296 schools that were not selected, it means they use their own criteria. I don't even know the number. I asked the number, the chap couldn't tell me. It means they used a certain cutoff. So, for instance, if less than 300 candidates selected your school, you may not be selected for dual track system, unless maybe you are more than 300. So, if you are less than 300, it means you'll be running the normal system. You go to school in the morning and close in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. But if your numbers were more than 300, then you were placed under the dual track. Then there they will have a stream A, stream B, with all the consequences that will come with it. But I don't think that any of you are aware of this. I got to know today.
Well, I think the minister has been quite clear, and I've had
as regards why the 296 were not selected.
Well, because
and what they will be doing.
I think the cutoff. I think when 3,000 people choose a school, then they split it.
No, it's not 3,000.
1,500 or so. They split it into 70.
They didn't give me the number.
There's a cutoff anyway.
But
you see, my issue today, not going to the specific,
is the regulator.
The regulator.
And the regulator has a problem. And the regulators within education are multi-layered. We have GES, we have NACVET, we have National Accreditation Board, and all. They are all playing similar roles within the education subsector in this country. So we have a different regulator for tertiary institutions. We have a different regulator for secondary institutions. And we have a different regulator for, I think, basic institutions. So, and for me, when you rope in the training colleges and the nursing training colleges, it's all about education.
Yeah.
The nursing training or the health training institutions are regulated by a different regulator, which is...
And you think they are not talking to each other?
How? There are policy disconnections. I don't think the Nurses and Midwifery Council, apart from the National Accreditation Board, which you say that Nana Ansa Kwao Health Training Institute is today or is hereby awarded the certification to award diplomas in nursing. Apart from that, I don't think they hold discussions with GES. But the curriculum has to have been designed by GES because it is about educational training. I don't think that happens. So educational institutions that fall within the health sector are doing their own things. And the other educational training institutions are also doing their own their own things. So we have these policy disconnections. And the universities, the fully fledged public universities and the private universities also are on their own.
Let me take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll look at the real estate sector before we close. Don't go.
Very well.
Well, it seems to be a very interesting and observation, and from the messages I'm getting, I think everybody's quite interested in it, and maybe we have to expand it. Maybe just take it sector by sector instead of looking at it so broad. Take sector by sector and look at which regulator handles that sector and what they're doing and not doing. But before we end, Roxy, I'm looking at real estate. What's happening? Because it's like, if I have a mason, I can just start my real estate. All I need is my mason, my land, and I start the real estate. What's the regulator doing?
You see, and I'll start on this note. Recently, this government created 38 new districts and metropolitan assemblies. Legally, do you know what that means? Areas that fell under previous assemblies. So, for instance, let me say Southern. I will still use my Southern.
Sure, of course.
We used to be under the Kpando district. And then in 2004, we were carved out of Kpando. So until 2004, if, for instance, you needed a building permit, you needed any permit at all for businesses and all that. But because your question is on real estate, I'll limit it to real estate building. If you needed any building permit at all, you had to travel to Kpando to go and get it. The government, in creating Southern, didn't conduct any communal outreach to inform the people that, say from about 2000, that, by 2004, I'm going to create a new district for you, and things will be different. So some of your permits, such as building permits and all, you may have to get it from your new district. Nothing like that happened. Some woke up one day and heard that a new district has been created with the capital at Peve. So if, for instance, I was procuring a building permit for my mother in Kpando, and suddenly a new district has been created, I couldn't go to Kpando anymore. I must now come to the new district at Peve to do that. They were not ready.
We probably don't have any records of
No. And that is the kind of the bureaucratic layers we create that creates regulatory problems for our people. So in that case, the fees that Kpando will get now won't come to Kpando. It will go to Peve. But Peve too was not ready. In fact, they don't even have the forms to sell to you, even though statutorily they have been created. We have created 38 districts and metropolitan assemblies. Now they will have to go to their mother assemblies to now be evacuating their files. And in this process, there are a lot of consequences for people who have applied for permits and all. Now, one Mr. Megaibo, he is the executive secretary for Greda.
Yeah.
He's been canvassing. He's been in the public domain, asking for a regulatory institution for the real estate subsector of the economy. Nobody appears to be listening to him. But I think he's gradually making an impact. People are listening. People are calling for. Two things have happened in this country. 2 banks, purposely meant for construction of real estate, have collapsed. I was young.
We only have 1 minute,
yes,
so let's round it.
Look, we were here when Bank for Housing and Construction collapsed.
Yeah.
Now the construction bank has collapsed. So something has to be done. You just told me something. That in the UK, they were willing to sue you for 10 pence and spend £100 to do that. That is the difference between us. We are not willing to do those things. So our regulatory institutions, in a nutshell, are sleeping. The appointing authorities themselves are sleeping. And so the effect is that the country is sleeping on its rights and things are going in a disarray. I want to use the opportunity to say that let the executive wake up. Let the president fire persons that he's put in some of these regulatory institutions if they are not functioning. Fire and hire new persons, new minds to man these institutions so that we can have some sanity. Look at DVLA. There are some drivers who are involved in accidents 3 times or 4 times in a year. There's no pointer on them. There's no indicator on them. In the UK, 1 accident, you lose points. By the 3rd accident, you are off the road. You can't drive. You may be Schumacher. But because when you go behind the steering wheel and come onto the road, you pose a danger to other road users. The state has a mechanism of checking you. You don't put you on the road. You are taken off the road. We don't do that here. So somebody has accidents 10 times in a year, he's still driving.
We'll have to do a part 2. Take sector by sector, look at the regulator and the laws that apply there and find out what at all is making all regulators go to sleep, that they can't function. Is this purely because they are underfunded?
Maybe it's the judicial service. I haven't heard of a fake judge yet. So I'll praise the judicial service.
You see now? Thank you. But the number is 024-366-2001. 024
The judicial service
366-2001. That's Tantees. They give me my shirts for the show, so give them a call. My guest was Roxin Danfia Mekbo, Honorable Member of Parliament for the lovely and beloved South Die, and he loves you guys very much. Tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again. Thank you very much for watching.